Hello, Helen, Authentic Discovery on Speak Your Truth Conversations. So thank you for watching. Really glad to have you here. I'm going to be talking today to the lovely Ash. I'm really excited about that. So like, subscribe, all of those things that you're kind of supposed to do underneath. So if you do that. So yes, welcome. Here is Ash. Ash, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yes, good morning. I'm Ash. Officially, I'm a published author, a Guinness World Record holder, an all-round good egg. Is that what they say? And I'm looking forward to speaking my truth with you, Helen.
Oh, thank you. I don't think we've ever spoken anything but anyway. Ash, you've just told me two things, like published author and Guinness World Book Record holder. I'm going to go on to the Guinness World Book Record holder. Wow, that's a tongue twister if you haven't loosened up the lips. Can you tell me something more about that? I'm just going to turn you up a little bit for myself so I can hear you. Go on then.
It's even more of a tongue twister when you say the actual record itself, because I've got a visual impairment, a slight visual impairment called keratoconus. So my vision is blurred. So I took it upon myself to go and do all sorts of crazy things to try and inspire others to get on with life and do some extraordinary things. And one of them was to try and get in the record books. And I went through so many different records and had a look at which one might be achievable. And there was one. It's the official title is 1 mile run male blindfold. So it's basically a mile run with a blindfold on. Nobody's allowed to touch you as a guide. You can have a guide with you that's running alongside. And it was quite a strange thing to do. I thought initially, oh yeah, that'd be easy. You know, I used to run quite a lot. A mile, you know, you can run a mile in what, 10, 12 minutes.
I believe someone's done it in 4, Ash. Let's get real.
And I thought, well, you know, let's give it a go. And I went. There's a friend of mine who runs a running club in Hereford. A lady called Nikki, and I said, look, would you like to do this record with me? And we turned up. He's me, all blasé, like, yeah, it'd be easy enough.
You didn't practice running blindfold before you did this?
Once.
Oh, even closing your eyes in a yoga pose is like you're not going anywhere.
Well, on the practice one that we did, I think we did half a mile, just to see what it was like. And you know, after that, I thought, and I said to Nikki, you know, I think this is going to be a little bit more difficult than we thought, because the record that stood was 20 minutes. And I was thinking, oh yeah, easy enough. And then I thought, you know, I think we'll do well to get 15 minutes. And then the day came along, and it was like, well, you know, it was just at the start of when the coronavirus was getting all the publicity, and we said, look, let's just do it. It was on 24th of February this year, which is the lead up to Rare Disease Day, and my eye condition's classed as a rare disease. So there we were on the start line, and put the blindfold on, and off we went. And we managed it in 10 minutes, 11 seconds.
Wow, so you almost halved the actual record?
Yeah.
Go you! Congratulations! Oh my God, like I say, doing a yoga pose when she goes, close your eyes, and I'm like, especially if it's like, you know, so that must have been quite, in terms of that, I'm going to use the word disorientation, to actually, number one, walk blindfolded. You know, when you can't see, you may have seen before you put the blindfold on, but obviously if you're running a mile, was it in a straight line, was it on a track, was it on a flat surface? Because I'm just thinking of, like, if you're running sort of a straight line down a road, even the variation and everything, that must, you know, what was going on for you?
Well, thankfully the lady that does the running club has got access to the local track here, so it was on an athletics track. But then the other challenge there is well, you've got to turn around the bends.
Yeah, 400 meters, 100.
and it's disorientating is an understatement, because I thought I was running straight, and I probably ended up running more because I was swaying from left to right, and you run a bit further, and then all of a sudden it was stop. I was obviously heading towards the steeplechase running, the jump in the water, and then
It's not the hurdles you did then.
And of course, there's other people on the track as well, because it's not just, you don't book it out. And everybody was great, to be honest. They were all cheering me on. It was brilliant. Really enjoyed it.
You've just reminded me that I am in the Guinness Book of Records. When we lived in Droitwich, remember when we lived in Droitwich?
Yeah.
We went to Worcester's rugby club, and they did, not for anything individual, but I was part of the biggest salsa dancing. Me, Gab, and girls were part of the biggest salsa dancing that got into the Guinness Book of Records. I never ever got it or anything, and it may well have been overturned by now. But you just reminded me when you were saying other people were there.
Oh, you'll have to have a look. You'll have to look, because you can order a certificate off the website if you're part of a group one.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
So we are fellow record holders. Although I think yours was, mine was just trying to get me left and me right and me wiggle and me waggle going. You just had to try and keep it straight and turn.
No, I think that's about right for me. I had my wiggle and my waggle going, and I needed to go straight.
Wow. So what was it? What did it feel like to do that, and then know that you'd bust it by almost half?
Well, the issue for me was I had to wait 12 weeks for Guinness World Records to come back and say yes, it's authorised. So that was only what was it, last Friday or something that I got told. So if you want to have an adjudicator there, it will cost however many thousands of pounds to have one there to get it done on the day.
Wow.
Or so many £100 to get it done within 5 days. And because it's, I wasn't sponsored massively by a company or anything, I couldn't afford that. And I thought, well, I'll just wait the 12 weeks and see how it goes. And, we had to have 2 people videoing it. We had 4 timekeepers just in case, witness statements and things to say it was done all correct. So, it was, we knew we'd done it. It was great, but there was that little bit in the back of your mind thinking, well, it's not official yet.
That's something that we do across the board, isn't it? When we've done something, unless we do as a species, for want of a better expression, we do like that bit of paper that tells us that we've done it. Yeah. We find it difficult to just be in our own, yes, I did that, and I don't need anyone else to validate or verify or anything else. It's, I know I've done that. And when it becomes a bigger challenge as well when somebody comes along and goes, well, no, actually you didn't. There's a whole different kettle of fish. So you also mentioned that you are a published author.
Yeah, not bad for somebody who got a D in English.
Let's not talk about the education system and what that tells us we can and can't do.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, as a published author, so is that too is to do with your keratoconus, isn't it? Is it keratoconus?
Yeah, right, yeah, not to be confused with keratoconus from television fame. Yeah. Like I say, I took it upon myself to do some crazy things, and I've done triathlons, mountain bike 24-hour endurance races, ski racing, an Arctic expedition, and various other things. So
it's taken you far, then, hasn't it? This condition.
Oh yeah. Well, I was supposed to be in Oman as well last month, but of course everything was cancelled because of this pandemic that's going on. So there's a lot of things in the pipeline as well that's coming up. But I joined a few self-help groups and things on social media, and giving advice on little things like what sort of swimming goggles you should wear to keep your contact lenses in your eyes when you're swimming, which is against all the rules. But if you're doing a triathlon, well, you can't stop and put your contact lenses back in because, well, it's a competition, so you you want to save as much time as possible. And a couple of years of doing these self-help groups and forums and things, somebody said you should write a book. So I did, and I did it from the heart. You know, I didn't get anybody to proofread it or to ghostwrite it or anything. It's my book from me, the way I wanted to say it.
And
that's my excuse.
So lovely.
And that's my excuse for the grammatical errors, you know.
Oh, right, okay. So did you publish it yourself as well? Is it self-published or?
Yeah, it's Amazon, but it's classed as an Amazon self-published, so I can order books myself and just pay for the printing costs and then sell them on. But all the money that I raise from it, I don't take any. There's no profit. It goes straight to a charity that I'm an ambassador for, which is Fight for Sight, the eye research charity.
Okay.
So
I'll put a link. If you send me the link, I will put a link to this so that people can purchase your book and things.
Thank you very much.
You're just so lovely. I mean, I can remember when your eyes, to me, I remember when you started to have problems with your eyes. You may have had problems before, but I do remember you kind of starting that kind of.
Yeah, I kept winking at you, I think, didn't I?
Oh, Ash, it wasn't because of Kerry. Is the missus around there? No, but I do kind of remember you starting to have difficulty with your eyes and some of the challenges that was bringing to you in terms of career and what you were going to do and where you were going to go and things. So, and I also, I'm hearing that you're an ambassador for a charity, and it's for charity, and you've got in touch with everything. Most of the things you do, it seems, is to just give. And I do remember a fabulous challenge that I once participated in, not on the bike, but across Hadrian's Wall with you, which was again for charities and things like that. So the charity work is quite a large side to what you do, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's that giving back, isn't it? You know, and to see what the charities do for people, and I've been on the receiving end of it. As well as the giving side of it, and it's a massive help to people. So if I can give a little bit, then it's going to help somebody a hell of a lot. So in my eyes, it's worth doing.
So I'm going to ask a question. What and it's to do with your keratoconus. I said, what has it given you? Because I know that you're sort of losing your sight, but I can hear a lot of. You know, what is it? What? How do you perceive it? Has it given you anything? Do you think?
I did a blog for somebody, and I can't remember the exact words, but it said something like, "If it wasn't for keratoconus, I wouldn't have done half the things that I've done in the last 10 years. I would still be, I'd probably still be doing the job that I was in, but I found another calling doing the job now that I do." And to go on all these adventures, and I was part of the Invictus Games Foundation. I've got a gold medal ski racing. It's there's so many different things that I could list, and most people think, oh, he's just showing off now. But if
I don't. So show off, babe.
Yeah, well,
go for it.
You know, and if it, for instance, I'm a beneficiary of Mission Motorsport, which is the Armed Forces Motorsport charity. And I found myself at Silverstone race circuit, hurtling around a track, sat next to Sir Chris Hoy, who was driving in his Porsche GT3 at full speed around a GP circuit. Well, how many people can say they've done that? And the reason I've done that is because of these blinkers. And if it wasn't for that, well, I wouldn't have done it. And in one way, I'm thankful. It's given me an identity. But then on the other side of things, I've had some pretty dark days about it. You know, it's not all been, well, what they say, smell the roses. You know, it does take its toll as well.
Yeah, I'd say so. It sounds like you've had a fabulous ride on it and with it and whatever, and that it has brought new experiences and new joys and things like that. So you mentioned the Armed Forces. So that's how I met you, as it happens. So you were a member of the Armed Forces, and you did charity work while you were there too. So the charitable thing, doing things for charity, and that is something that's in you anyway. But what I'm going to ask you is, what inspires you, Ash? And has your inspiration changed? What inspired you, as in past? What inspires you, and are they the same? And if they're not, what changed?
Blimey.
I like to ask these questions.
I mean, years and years ago, before I joined the armed forces, my dad was he was an ex-soldier as well. So, you know, he's an inspiration of mine. As was my granddad, he served in the armed forces as well, and well, both of them. You know, a lot of people say that word hero comes out a lot, doesn't it? And people say, oh, you know, they're so brave and they're a hero for doing something trivial. And then you look on the other side and you see, yeah, as was Captain Tom Moore, that's now Colonel Sir Tom Moore. And, you know, that's a hero to me. People that you don't know about, that sort of come up from nowhere and do something massive. And somebody you can look at and think, wow, you know, good on him. You know, well.
So you're inspired by other people.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. You know, I think you're beautiful. So you just look at, no, but it is. That's really lovely.
Yeah.
Because there is that. Gav often says, when he hears people talking about heroes and things like that, and he says, in my book, a hero is the man that gets up every day, goes to a job that he hates for his family and to make sure that everybody's okay. Yeah. And they are the unsung heroes, the everyday Joe Soap that just gets on, does what he's got to do, and for the benefit of his family and for the wider community if he's able. And like you say, just nobody knows, nobody.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's a friend of mine who's I won't mention names or anything, but he was wounded in Afghanistan, and he went to the Invictus Games, and he's been called all these you know, legend and hero and everything, and he gets really, really annoyed with it, that because he goes and you know, rows at whatever speed and wins medals.
I think I know who you're speaking about.
Probably, and he just he says, well, I've got children. I take my children to bed every night. You know, I carry them up the stairs, and he's pretty badly injured. And he said, why don't people call me a hero for that? Why am I getting all the credit for doing something for myself, something, you know, to get him on the stage? But why not when he's doing something for his family? And you know, that stuck with me ever since we had that conversation. And I just think it's, you know, he's a wonderful person. You know, whether he's winning gold medals or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it?
It is. We do. We kind of, I think, again, as a species, as a collective, you know, like not so. I think it has altered a little bit with what's been going on, but with the celebrity culture, and they're all up there, and you know, at the end of the day, they just go out there doing what they love and what they enjoy, and you know, they're being idolised for having the opportunity to follow their passion.
Yeah.
And you know, and it's the same kind of thing. I think we've gone a little bit, even the word celebrity, I mean, it means that you are celebrated for something. So yeah. The likes of Louis Pasteur is celebrated for, is he penicillin? I might be wrong there. You know, whereas Jade Goody, I know she's passed, is celebrated for being a bit of a racist idiot, in all fairness. But you know, so you know, where we are putting our idols and what we're idolizing them for and celebrating them for on many levels is questionable. So, and do people still inspire you? Are you still inspired by people, or are you inspired by something else
now? A bit of both, really. You know, I just mentioned one individual who inspires me now, but I've got two little children, and they, you know, it's quite testing at the moment with the homeschooling, the work, and everything else that comes with it. But you know, they inspire me every day. You know, when you get up in the morning and you see them You've just got to embrace it, give them a big cuddle, and no matter how much they really annoy you, which children do.
Yes, never.
Yeah, well, yeah, but yeah, they do. They inspire me every day. And the youngest one today, she came up to me and she said, they've just gone out for a walk now, to give us some peace and quiet. And she said, "Daddy, are you coming?" I said, "No." "But you need some exercise." I said, "Yeah, but I'll get my exercise later." And you could tell she was looking at me, judging me for not going on the walk with them.
And are you in need of exercise, Ash? Is everything starting to spread?
Well, I had a pretty tough year. What year are we on now? 2020. So 2 years ago, I had a pretty tough year, and I did a lot of things, like we've said, for charity. So cycling, running, and all sorts of things. I had a whole year when I sold all my bikes, sold all of my kit, and did no exercise for a year.
Wow.
I mean, I was lower than low.
Yeah.
And everything seemed to be going wrong. Thankfully, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. And I have started again. I did put on a bit of weight. But yeah, I'm cycling, not to the the extent I was before, but I'm going out and doing an hour a day, either running, cycling, or even doing the online fitness sessions with the girls. We try and get them involved, and we set up a bit of a bit of a circuit training session in the garden the other day, and one of them was run up the slide and go down the slide, repeat, repeat, and repeat. And while they were doing that, I was doing press ups and then lifting up various different weights and things like that. So yeah, it's a very different sort of fitness that I'm doing now compared to before.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So what are your plans? I mean, I think you're still working, aren't you? So you're frontline working, sort of. You're still your position is still working.
Yeah.
But what sort of things have you? How has this current situation impacted on you?
I'm really busy, actually. It's the work that I do has just evolved into something completely different. So I'm still supporting veterans in the community. I think I've got 57 vulnerable people at the moment that can't get out for obvious reasons. So just the odd phone call, just to have a bit of banter, have a laugh with somebody, and just to take their mind off, because we've all seen the news. It's all just getting.
I try not to watch it, in all fairness.
Yeah, but if you're in the house on your own and there's nothing to do, people are going to just put the telly on, and it's all fear. It's all negative and fear, and for me to call these people up and just have it used to be a 10-minute chat, just to see how they are. Do you need any food? Do you need a prescription picking up? That sort of thing. And it's now turned into an hour's conversation each week, sometimes more. And I've got over 50 people. So thankfully, we've got a team of volunteers. The armed forces community here in Herefordshire is pretty good. So yeah, we're supporting them really well, and it's keeping us ticking along nicely. Doing a bit of online learning as well, and various other things of silly dances for Channel 4 with Matt Lucas on the Reasons to Be Cheerful. Did you see me on Sunday?
No, I don't watch TV. I try. The only time I really hear the news is on the radio when I'm driving. And in all fairness, I've turned that off because I find it's almost like reprogramming my brain into fear. The constant. Do this, and I can't. That I don't function with that. So I genuinely. I'm aware that this is still going on, but I would probably have done something quite drastic if I had been on my own and open to the media mainstream media. I find it offensive. No. Can't remember what you asked me, but no.
So I was on. There's a silly TV program on a Sunday night, and it's done by Matt Lucas and Harry Hill, so you can imagine the sort of
couple of absolute nutballs.
Yeah. So they get people to sing and dance, and at the end of the show, they put them all together on this little, what looks like what we're on now. Okay. So I was singing with Marty Pellow, "Love Is All Around." And
I've never heard you sing, Ash.
No, we don't want to either. It's so yeah. It went well. I had to sing the whole song and send it to them, and I was on the show for all of 2 seconds. So, but yeah, it's good for you. It's all in the name of humour, and it's all good.
And you do like a good laugh, Ash.
You've got to. You've got to laugh. If you don't laugh, you're going to cry, aren't you?
Possibly. More than likely. What are your plans? What are your plans for the next sort of 3 to 6 months?
Oh, I'd love to go to Devon and swim in the sea again, to be honest.
Oh gosh, I can't wait to go swimming.
Do you know, we were supposed to go at Easter. We've got a caravan, so we were going to go down to Devon, and this time last year we were swimming in the sea, and you look at Facebook and things, and it says 1 year ago you were swimming, and you think, oh, how I'd love to be there now. But we all follow the rules.
In the past, those memories, don't they? Because it goes, these are your memories from this, and you look and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I had an awesome time. What's going on right now?
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll get some downtime. I'd like to go and visit my grandmother up north. Who knows what's going to happen over the next few months?
You talked about, was it Oman or Omar?
Yeah, I was supposed to be on a selection week in Oman for another charity event that's a pretty big walk in the desert. Because I've done the Arctic, which is I've done the cold, so it's only right that I go and do the heat. There was two things planned this year. I was supposed to be going to Oman on a desert trek. And I was supposed to be going to Africa to climb Mount Tubkal, which is the highest mountain in the Atlas Mountains, and that's all booked. It's all, so I don't know what's happening with that one.
Okay. And these are all charitable challenges.
Yeah, the Mount Tubkal one is for Fight for Sight, which is the eye research charity that I've mentioned. So I've been going around doing, before all this happened, I was doing a few talks in places, book sales and that sort of stuff to try and raise money for it. And that's all booked. And I just wanted to test myself at, at altitude, basically, and to see what it was about. But that's in September, and it hasn't been cancelled yet, but I really can't see it happening. I really can't.
All right.
I can't see how anybody at the moment can be planning anything this year to be flying to the other side of the world or whatever. It just seems a bit.
I've heard a few people say, forget this year, just focus on building stuff for next year, planting the seeds, whatever it is, so for next year, so that they've literally said, just live this year, just don't plan anything. I've heard a few people say that.
But it seems just a waste, though, doesn't it? It seems a waste of a year if we're doing that. And, we should be doing something with our time. Yes, I'm working, and yes, I'm homeschooling, but surely we should be learn a language or learn to
I think however we get through this, it's a bit I'm going to equate it to having a baby. As in, when you're in labour, however you get that baby out, you get that baby out, and as long as that baby gets out alive, that's the key. I'm a natural birth kind of person, but I'm very aware that if I need to, when I'm with somebody in labour, if they need to be swinging on the chandeliers and taking copious, whatever it is they need to be doing in order to get them through that, to get that particular prize, is the way through. And I think it's the same here. I would have thought by using this time productively to enhance your skills, to further your life, to whatever. For me, I've been very proactive in getting to know me. I think if we can all get to know ourselves a lot better, and I'd say that some of the challenges, that'll probably be my next question for you, but the more you know yourself, the better your life is, and the more I'm going to just take a leap and say, the more anyone knows themselves, the more love they're able to give. Because I just think the more you know yourself, the more compassion you can show yourself, the more kindness. Unless you've got to know yourself and you've decided that you're just going to hate on yourself, and I can't imagine the benefit of that at all.
No.
But for me, it's been I've been journeying in and getting rid of some of my not rid of, but learning to embrace my demons, learning to embrace those things that have kept me safe, and because they've all served a purpose, and letting go of some things as well. So because you've given yourself these extreme challenges, just on that, what have you learned about yourself? What have you, or what was the challenge of for you? Now the environment's are one thing. Like you said, you've gone into the Arctic and things. I think you said the Arctic. Did you say the Arctic?
Yeah.
But what challenge did you have to overcome for you? What was your biggest challenge in that? Not the environment, but for you. What and preferably not a physical one, because I know that the site you obviously had to go. But, so yeah, I'm kind of trying to hone it in.
Yeah. I mean, there was lots of challenges, but a big one for me is worry. I worry about things so much that what's going to happen to me, to my family, and of course homesickness is a big one. Back in the day when I was going all over the world in the forces, I was on my own. It was great. You can do all these things. You can go parachuting and you can go scuba diving and whatever. But doing those things now, even going on an aeroplane, I'm thinking, what would my children do if this aeroplane was to crash? And I worry about everything, and it's trying to get that out and trying to get it away and trying to find some way of doing it. And
you don't let it stop you though, because you're still doing the challenges.
Yeah. It's quite a hard one to explain, because even just trying to just go somewhere for one night, and it seems like before I started this job, I went on a different job that took me away for training, and I was in a hotel for a few weeks, and it was for most people it'd be like, oh yeah, in a hotel, that's brilliant, that is on your own, but it wasn't.
No.
It was, it had its moments, when you can watch what you like on the telly, and there's peace and quiet for certain things, but then it was like, well, children are going to bed now, and it goes around in your mind that you're not where you are, you're somewhere else, and I just need to get myself focused and try and overcome it. But the feeling.
How did you manage that when you were away? How, like on your challenges, how did you manage that worry? Because you obviously you did manage it, because you're here and you did the challenges.
Yeah.
What did you?
I mean, the hotel side of things was perfect, because you can, you get on the phone and you can do FaceTime, and technology is perfect. But in the Arctic, there was nothing. And it was, I mean, when you sit there and it's minus 35 and all you can think about is the cold, and you think your fingers are going to drop off, you need to think about something else. So luckily, you look up and you see the Northern Lights, and it sort of takes your mind off everything. And then
you're being in the here and now.
Yeah, and I think that's important, that you just need to be focused on things, and even when, let's say, when I was skiing, it was always, oh, so and so, like my children, she'd love that, or she'd love that. I'll have to bring my children here. We'll have to do this. We'll have to do that. But it was always that bit of, I'll remember that, and I'll tell them when I get home. You know, it was like a storytelling, I suppose. And whether it must have helped me get through it, because, like you say, I did it. So.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing from you, because I knew you before children as well. So what I'm hearing is that your children have just literally and they do. When you have children, they become, you know why you're here. For me, there's this incredible sense of purpose, and like, I'm here to make sure that these little people become big people, and that you know they're fabulous and healthy. So your children, on one hand, although they cause you, children and family cause you the worry of like, what happens if I'm not around for them, they also give you a great sense of focus in terms of the things that you want to share with them and show them. So there's that element of, okay, right here, right now, this is going on, and I would like to share that with my children. So there's a duality of being very much in where you are. My fingers might drop off, but the northern lights are beautiful. I'm skiing and I might break my legs and whatever, but the children would love this. So you're here now, but you are bringing, you're looking for the possibilities of how you can share this with your family. Would that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You've just
whatever you say, Ellen, whatever you say.
No, you've got a better way of explaining it than I have. Like I said, you know, grammatical. Read my book and you'll understand.
Okay. Call me out. I'm not reading your book. So, is there I'm going to ask you a question, because you've just had so much experience. You've had all of these lovely diverse experiences, and I suppose that having children is one of the most diverse experiences that anyone can have, although it's diverse and yet it's something that we're also not supposed to do, but we all do. It's a continuation of life. Is there any particular moment anywhere in your life that comes to mind that you will never forget, and that, first of all, is there a moment that you will never forget? Any moment, ever?
There's quite a few.
I know meeting me was one of them.
Where do I start with that one?
Just the first one that came to mind.
The first one that came to mind was I was in Iraq with the armed forces, and I was on the back of a Land Rover, and all of a sudden this thing came hurtling towards me, hit me on the head, and then landed by my feet, and that's caused me quite a few problems over the years, because I mean, thankfully it was a rock. It wasn't anything, you know, worse. But I always had what if it was something else? You're
a worrier, aren't you, Ash?
Yeah. And I get that from my nan. My nan was always a worrier, and and that makes me be able to live with it, because she was a worrier, so I'm a worrier, and it's fine.
Not to give you an alternative, you know, when you are doing the worrying, and this is just a gift that I received from someone, because and it was when the eldest went to uni, and every awful thing imaginable came to my mind that could possibly happen to her, and I couldn't even take her to uni, and someone turned around to me and said, stop worrying about what might go wrong and start hoping for what might go right. Yeah. So I interrupted your story, but I just wanted
to... that's and I think that was back then, and actually, you know, there is a lot more to it than hope now. I recently joined my girls go to a Church of England school, and I joined the Alpha course there, to go and learn about you know, Christianity and what it is. And you know, I never went to church really. It was always when I was a child, I went with my nan and so on. And then it was a case of, you know, I'm a big roughy tufty soldier. You know, I don't need that. And then that moment that I just mentioned, you pray to somebody, and you've got that hope somewhere, and you're saying, please make this be all right. Please make me get home. Please make me be able to live my life. And yeah, I went to the Alpha course at the church where my children go, and you know, it was so interesting. It was really, really enjoyable, and unfortunately, it got cut short. We haven't been able to finish it yet because of the pandemic that's going on. But yeah, it's interesting when you say hope there, because hope to me is I want to live a long, successful life for me and my family.
Yeah. So there's a spiritual element coming into you that sounds like it's always been there, but it's something that's actually sort of tapping now and saying, "Are you ready to open this door?"
Well, yes, I fully agree. Yeah. And you mentioned yoga earlier. I've never been one for sitting still. And somebody had said something about meditating. I thought, well, I'm not sitting there doing that. And then I looked a bit more into it, and the army have got an online wellness course that they do. And they call it a wellness course because if you call it meditating, people from my background aren't gonna
no, they're not interested.
But a wellness course, you think, oh, actually that, it might make me feel better. And actually it's meditating. Just taking.
Join me on a Thursday night, Ash.
Well, there we go. I will do. And it's even meditating to me. You used to think, well, you'll sit there with your legs crossed and your arms up or whatever you, and it's not, is it? It's taking that time to think about yourself, your inner self, and recharge. And I think it's brilliant.
It is. It's really multifaceted actually, because on one hand it is because I'm mindfulness and meditation, so the meditation comes into the mindfulness of it, but it's about it's that getting to know you, but it's creating a space for something else. It's about creating that space for something else to emerge. And when there's different, obviously there's silent meditations, there's so many different types of meditation, and it's focused attention. It's about connecting with, when you connect with your breath, that connection with your breath, that connection with that life force within you that creates the possibility for something else, focused attention. I likes it. I likes it a lot. I'm going to sort of wrap up and just ask you my final question. There's loads more that I'd like to, but try and keep them within a certain time frame. So what truth would you like to share?
Well, I would like to share. Which one shall I go with now? Because again, there's a lot of different truths out there that I've got that could be beneficial for various different people.
And what truth would you like to say? So your truth, I'll help you focus it in. Your truth, then, a truth that you would like to share that's yours. And I know that they're all going to benefit somebody, but try and focus it down to you. Yeah, even I'm kind of wondering what I've just asked.
Ooh, right. I know we've been all laughy and jokey, but I mentioned some of my dark days that I've had. And I always go on about the good things because, that's what people want to hear. When I left the armed forces, I was lost, completely lost. And I found myself on a third floor ledge, open window. And I was stood there looking down with tears streaming down my face. And I still, to this day, don't know why I was there, what I was doing. And it was like an out-of-body experience. Whether I was going to jump or not, I have no idea. Somebody came behind me and told me off because it was during work time. And then somebody else had came in and said, let's go and have a coffee. So we went and had a coffee. I was then, I could talk about this for hours because the story is just unbelievable. But the point I want to get to is there's light at the end of the tunnel, and there's always something around the corner. And for me, it was a new job that was around the corner. Something had. My nan used to always say, everything happens for a reason. And for me, that happened because now I in my job, I support people with mental and physical injuries or illness. And I know exactly how they feel. And for me, having that, and if somebody's explaining to me what, that they've got something wrong, and I say, yes, I understand, that to me is my truth. I can say, yes, I understand. And it's not just one of these, yeah, I understand what you're going through. When actually a lot of people don't. But I can say, yes, I do understand. And let's get this done and let's make things better.
You know I love you, don't you? I always have.
Thank you. The feeling's mutual.
I know.
You know that.
I do. I just burst with you. You love me. I do. So thank you, Ash. If you just hold on 1 second. I'm not sure. There's no following that at all. So I'm just going to say thank you to Ash for joining me in conversation. So thank you to everyone for watching. Please again subscribe and like, and I will place the links below to Ash's book and to anything else that he would like me to promote for him. And so be mindful, be careful, be grateful, be kind, and thank you. So I'm just going to stop this recording.